Okay, so I have my floppy drive plugged into my computer with the floppy disk in it in the USB port. Um, I went into my documents and clicked on completed projects. That's where I always kept all of my projects to do for the next day. And then over here on this one, you can see floppy disk. So it's pulling up all of the files that are on my disk currently. I'm gonna delete these. We'll pretend like I already did those, so I'm done with those. Um, so as I've told you before, the machine takes the DST format. So I would go through and click on all of my DST designs that I'm going to do for the next day. And then I would just move them over to the floppy disk. So now they're loaded and ready to go. So I'll just take out my floppy disk and put it in my machine. Um, so as I told you before, I'm just going to reiterate. I'm going to open up my Sew Up Pro program. So to open one of my completed projects, so when I'm opening my projects, I click on the PES because this shows me the colors. And let me show you. Here's ABM John PES. So I did it in red. If I opened it in DST, it's a different hoop, it's a different color. So you need the DST format to transfer to your floppy disk, but you need the PES in order to see your colors. Let me find one that's got different colors. Alright, so this is the example I showed you when I was stitching the shirt. I did this in Georgia colors. So what I would do is I would have my computer by the machine, and when I'm programming the colors into the machine, which I showed you, one would be black. So I would program, I think black is number 2 on my machine. So I would make this a 2 on the machine. And then red, let's say it's number 3. So I would make this a 3 on the machine. Then I would make this a 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. And that's how I would program the machine based on the thread colors. Let's see if I have another example. Alright, here's the Christmas truck that I showed you. And then you can click zoom out so you can see the whole design. So this is, I like to do the placement stitch, and I mean it doesn't matter what color you do it in. If you know, look, I used a lot of white shirts, so I just did them all in silver. So I would program in my machine, silver is number 5 thread, so I do a 5 there, and then I would do a stop in my machine. I always did the tack down stitches in white, just to make it simple. So I would do a 4. My thread color for white is a number 4 on my machine. So I do a 4, and then I would do another stop on the machine so I could take it off and trim around this Christmas tree fabric. And then next is the placement for the truck. And so I would do that, and then I would do a stop, and then I would put down my truck fabric. And then I would stitch the white, so that's the number 4. I would put that as a 4 thread color. That would tack down the fabric, and then I would put another stop, and I would take the shirt off, and I would cut around the truck fabric. And then this is the wheel placement. So I would do that silver. I would change that to a 5 on my machine, and then do a stop. Then I would put down the wheel fabric. And then this is the tack down. So I would do white. I would put that as a 4. and then I would do a stop, and I would take that off and trim around the wheels, and then you can stitch. I think green is 6 or 7 on my machine, so I would put that as a 7. No more stops because we've got all the fabric down. Then 4 for red, or I don't know, whatever color red is, 6 on the machine, and then black, a 2 for black, a 1 for yellow, and then a 7 for the green. Always make sure that your fingers are out of the way of the needle. You do not want to go to the hospital with a needle through your finger. Knock on wood, I never had one through my finger, but I have seen lots of pictures on Facebook groups and it does not look like fun. So never have your finger down there. If you feel like you want to hold the fabric in place, I would get like a chopstick or something like that just to hold it down, but not your finger. There's lots of informational Facebook groups on embroidery and applique. All you have to do is search up applique and embroidery, and that's how I self-taught myself a lot of it. I just read through the groups. They have great tips and great information, and great websites you can go on to buy your designs and all that good stuff.